In today's video, we have some news coming directly from Sony about the DualShock 5 PlayStation 5 controller, and also Phil Spencer seems to have the Xbox Project Scarlett in his house and he's playing games. So stay tuned for all that news and more in today's video. Here we go, back at it yet again with another video. G'day guys, I'm Champ Chong, and if you end up enjoying today's video and you want a giveaway this weekend on the channel, make sure you smack the like button real good and I may do a giveaway. Also, just a side note, I realized that I'm actually wearing a Star Wars shirt and I bought this yesterday. Check this out. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know I got this awesome Darth Vader light. It lights up, see, turns off, turns on. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, and it's red because, well, the dark side. But anyway, yeah, we've got a bunch of gaming news to do today, so we've got to get to it. And the first thing is a PlayStation. Sony, we've got some official words from themselves. As you probably already know, over the last couple of days, Sony has been celebrating its 25th anniversary since the original PlayStation did come out. And well, according to Jim Ryan from Sony, he's been using the brand new PlayStation 5 controller, which is the DualShock 5, and he talked about the haptic feedback on the controller, and also he talked a bit about graphics of the PlayStation 5 in general. In yesterday's issue of Weekly Famitsu, it included an interview with Jim Ryan, who is the CEO and president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, and he briefly talked about the PlayStation 5 and also the DualShock 5 controller. Ryan mentioned that the haptic technology included in the new controller created for the new console is a great and really exciting feature. He's really looking forward to seeing how developers will use it in games, and that's probably one of the most important things that he talked about. The development of games. Will they actually end up using this? That's a key point which I will touch on in a second. So this is what he had to talk about with his personal experience with the controller. As you can see on screen right here, he stated, "I actually tried it myself in a test version of Gran Turismo Sport. I was very surprised by the gameplay feel that was very different compared to the current DualShock 4. This is a very promising feature. Of course, with the improvement of the graphics over PS4, I think you'll feel a great evolution as a gaming experience." He also talked about a few more things in these interviews, nothing too crazy, and he didn't get into any big details just yet, but he did state that early next year, we should be getting some more reveals with the PlayStation 5, which means we should get the actual reveal of the console itself. The interesting thing about this is the fact that he actually did this all in Japanese and it's been translated to English because, well, yeah, you need to know what he's saying since we don't speak Japanese. Also, just a random side note, I did read some Japanese people out there were like, damn, his Japanese isn't too good. But at least he went up on stage and he did his best, so I gotta give him credit for that because I know zero Japanese. I know maybe like 1-2 words because of anime, but he actually spoke on stage, so props to you, Jim. But anyway, yeah, so he talked about the haptic feedback and just the technology in the controller itself with the DualShock 5 being so different to the DualShock 4 and how it would give you a different experience to the PlayStation 4 because you get a big improvement in graphics and performance, and then you've also got the performance of the controller now. But one thing I am going to bring up is it's not going to be important that this controller has all these cool new features if the developers don't actually end up using them. Obviously, Gran Turismo Sport, which is what Jim Ryan played, is going to have that in there because it's going to be one of those big games that come out and it's a Sony exclusive, so you won't see it on Xbox, and that means the developers are creating it to get the most out of what you are going to get on launch day with the PlayStation 5 and the new controller. So yeah, I don't know if many developers out there that are going to be third-party developers, for example like Call of Duty or Battlefield or even other racing games like, I'm trying to think of a racing game that's in everything right now, Need for Speed, for example. And I don't know if we're going to actually see that being used to its full potential. I really want to, but if you look back to the DualShock 4, that touchpad rarely gets used, and there's a speaker on there which when it does get used honestly is kind of annoying. I don't like that feature on there, and I prefer some multi-platform games on the actual Xbox because it doesn't have that annoying speaker. I know you can turn that off, but then there's some features that don't work the same way they originally were intended to because you've turned off the speaker, and there's just little things here and there, especially the light bar doesn't always get used. And I don't know, I'm really hoping that they do end up using this controller to its full capabilities and full potential, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because of what we've seen in the past. Now, speaking of the controller itself, the Xbox controller, this one right here, this is one that is actually probably the best controller on the market right now. This is the Elite Series 2. Now, this The strange thing about this is this costs about 250 Australian dollars. I believe it's like 180 US. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments down below if you do know how much this is in America. But this controller is the best thing on the market, honestly. I've always preferred Xbox controllers, even though I played PlayStation my whole life, just because of the shape and size of the controller. I know you can get pro PlayStation controllers that are bigger and whatnot, but there's something about these controllers that just kick ass. So I prefer them. But it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's on the inside. It's not just about the outside and how you hold it. The crazy thing is, the technology that they're putting into the PlayStation 4 controller with the haptic feedback and all that good stuff and everything else on top of it, it's all in this controller already that's on the market by Xbox. And I'm going to be talking about this in a second because Phil Spencer is currently using this controller and he's using a Project Scarlett Xbox console at his house already. But yeah, it's just wild to me that we've got this controller on the market already, and then PlayStation are going to have it in their console as a base controller with pretty much all the tech that you see here, besides obviously like taking this off and like having the paddles on the back and things like that. But all the good stuff on the inside looks like it's going to be in that controller, which is crazy because this thing is so expensive, and that means it could raise the price of that, or Sony will probably just take the loss anyway. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new PlayStation controller, and will Xbox end up also just deciding to kind of make a elite kind of sort of controller, something similar that's not just a plastic controller, something with some actual tech in it that will give you a better like feeling when you do play these games, like a better like experience overall. So let me know what you guys think in the comments regarding all that stuff that I just talked about. But we do have some more gaming news to get to, so let's jump right into the next news story. And this one is still staying with PlayStation. We are going to talk about the Xbox Scarlett and Phil Spencer playing it at home in a second, but the big thing right here is some sad news because, well, it looks like PlayStation no longer has any plans to follow up on the PlayStation Vita. This is also coming from Jim Ryan, who is the CEO and president of Sony Entertainment. So he talked about the PlayStation Vita and the future plans, and well, there really just aren't any. He stated, PlayStation Vita was brilliant in many ways, and the actual gaming experience was great, but clearly it's a business that we are no longer in now. He doubled down and talked about how they probably won't go in any sort of similar way in the future, because, well, realistically, when you do think about it, a lot of people out there are using their phones to play games anyway, and just carrying that sort of thing around and then them focusing on multiple things rather than just the PlayStation console itself, it isn't a good business move for them, and they did lose a lot of money. It wasn't the most successful thing, and it never felt like they completely dived into it, kind of like Nintendo does. And I think that's why Nintendo is successful with it all, because they do focus on just creating an amazing gaming experience, handheld and at home. And that's why you had the DS for many years, you had the home consoles for many years, and then they decided to bring out their brand new console, the Switch, a couple of years ago, which just made it awesome for everybody because you can take it out and then you have it at home, and it's just everything in one. But over the years with the PSP and the PS Vita, we never really got that full experience that you would with Nintendo's handheld consoles. Nintendo felt like you were playing games that are truly made like 100% AAA titles, and they felt legit on these handheld consoles, and they felt awesome too on your home consoles. But then you had PlayStation, and everything felt like just kind of like a weird little side game thing that it just never really took off. I never originally had the PSP. I just was never lucky enough to have one. They came out when I was still very young and I didn't have my own money. But when the PS Vita came out, I saved up for that thing, and then I got it. And honestly, I was pretty disappointed. I ended up selling it like a couple of months, no, not a couple of months, maybe like almost a year later, because I rarely played it. I thought I'd even play it when I travel and whatnot, and then I didn't. I just didn't play the PS Vita. So this is sad news in a way, but at the same time, I'm not really that upset that they're not going in that way with the handheld consoles at PlayStation anymore, because it was never really their key focus anyway. So there's nothing really to lose. But yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about all this, that PlayStation are no longer going to be in the handheld market. They've pretty much closed that chapter at Sony. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. But now let's move on to the Xbox Scarlett Scarlett news because Phil Spencer has the console at his house. Check out this tweet from Phil Spencer. He stated, "And it started. This week I brought my Project Scarlett console home and it's become my primary console, playing my games, connecting to the community, and yes, using my Elite Series 2 controller. Having a blast. Great work by the team. 2020 is going to be an incredible year." Now I know that's literally just a tweet, but it's from Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox. Like, that's huge. That's massive. He has an Xbox Project Scarlett, the next Xbox console, in his house. That's nuts. I can't believe he's got one working in his house. I don't even know what he's playing. I kind of just want to just spam him tweets all day because I don't want to brag, this is a humble brag. I'm verified on Twitter. He can see my tweets in that separate little column that we do get. But should I do that? Let me know in the comments. I feel like I'm asking you guys a million things for the comments today. But let me know if I should spam Phil Spencer to tell us what games he's playing on his console and his brand new next Xbox. But yeah, that's just really exciting stuff right there. I'm guessing he is most likely currently just playing like Xbox games that are already out, nothing too new. Maybe he does have some code for some stuff that is in beta or alpha that's coming out in a year from now. Imagine he's playing the next Halo game. That would be ridiculous, and he's just playing it in his house. I want to see what Phil Spencer's setup actually looks like. I'm thinking about it. It's probably way cooler than this. He's probably playing like an 85 or 105 inch 4K or 8K TV with his new Project Scarlett. Like, that would just be nuts. I want to see Phil Spencer's gaming setup. Actually, that's a smart thing to do. I just had a huge thought. What if I ask him, can you show us what your setup looks like? And no, he probably wouldn't, but he accidentally ends up just like showing us what the console actually looks like. It's probably still a dev kit anyway, but who cares? At least we get to see it. Anyway, that's probably a genius idea if he falls for it, but I doubt he will. Let me know in the comments I should end up doing that. But yeah, we've got one final news report on today's show, and it is some more Xbox related news, and it is some games that are coming soon to the Xbox Game Pass. As you can see on screen right here, this is officially coming from Xbox. This wasn't leaked, this is coming from Major Nelson himself, and these are the games that are coming to the Xbox Game Pass pretty soon. You've got games like My Friend Pedro, and then you've got Shinobi Striker, you got Demon's Tilt, Wonder Song, PES 2020, which is actually a pretty good get. And then you've got Overcooked 2, The Division, and Pathologic 2. Honestly, this is pretty cool that they're adding even more games to the Xbox Game Pass. I wasn't expecting a couple of those games on the list, but it is cool to see, even the games like The Division, and the Xbox Game Pass library just keeps on growing, which is amazing. I think it's probably one of the best things, the best services out there. And I know a lot of people out there, like you guys that do have an Xbox console, are probably downloading as many games as you can, and you're just constantly running out of hard drive space. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how massive these SSDs are going to be on the next gen, because if you're downloading games constantly with digital becoming so much bigger, and even when you do get a hard copy of a game and you put that disc in, you still have to install it. And then on top of that, with Game Pass now and all these free games, they're not free, but with the membership, you're getting so many different games every month. It's just like you're running out of space, and that's why I'm interested to see what the Xbox Scarlett specs are going to be like, especially now that they're going with an SSD rather than a regular hard drive that they have been going with for over a decade now. But yeah, anyway, those are the games coming to Xbox Game Pass next. They're going to be the next in line, so yeah, really exciting stuff, and a couple of those are multiplayer games, so you can play online with your friends or even at home with a couple of them. So it's cool that they're not all just big AAA titles that are single player and whatnot, and it's cool that they are doing quite a lot of different types of games every single month. But yeah, that does it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please smack the like button. Also, yeah, I may appear a little bit sunburnt. I was at the beach today. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you probably know that. So you should probably follow me on those socials, because I may do some giveaways soon. I don't know. It's the Christmas time of the year, the Christmas season. I'm stumbling my words because it's the end of the video and I've been staring at this damn bright light for 20 minutes. Anyway, that does it for today's video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff. Make sure you click that like button. Smack it, actually. I don't know why I said click, but make sure you click that subscribe button and make sure that notification bell is on. And that does it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.